It's Black History Month and we're talking about the Ethiopian princess Andromeda from the mythological story of the hero Perseus. Her parents are the king and queen of Ethiopia, Cepheus and Cassiopeia. But the story goes Cassiopeia boasted about how beautiful her daughter Andromeda was, saying that she was more beautiful than even the Nereids. This made Poseidon mad, and the only way to placate him was to offer up Andromeda as a sacrifice to a sea monster, so they chained her to a rock and just left her there. But Perseus, the hero who slayed Medusa, on his way home to Seriphos with the Medusa head in his little backpack, Perseus sees Andromeda in distress and he saves her from the monster by using the Medusa head and turning the monster to stone. Perseus is so charmed by her beauty, they fall in love and get married. Now in the last video we talked about how the region of Ethiopia, of what we know it today, isn't necessarily exactly the same as what the ancient Greeks thought of as Ethiopia, but that it could have been anywhere between sort of northern Sudan and up to Palestine. But with all of that considered, Andromeda should be black, right? Or at least a woman of color. Except that in almost all artistic representations of Andromeda, she's white, including the 1981 Clash of the Titans movie with Harry Hamlin, as well as the 2010 Clash of the Titans with Sam Worthington. She's white in both of those movies. Why? We also talked about how Ovid, in two different texts, makes references to Andromeda's skin being dark. The ancient writers Hyginus, Strabo, and Pliny also make references to Andromeda's dark skin. I love how Ovid says two people of very disparate skin tones will inevitably be attracted to one another, because that's exactly what happened with my parents. But from basically the Renaissance onwards, Andromeda in all artwork and all artistic representations and all media is white. Almost all. Why? Scholars basically say the answer is racism, especially in the times of slave trade, where Europeans who have that big deep connection to Greek mythology, the Roman Empire as well, couldn't possibly have the most beautiful woman of her time as a black woman and part of a community that they are intentionally trying to oppress. There was even this one Flemish guy who tried to paint her as a black woman, and his art teacher was like, no, you can't do that. Because how could such a beautiful princess have dark skin? That doesn't fit with their narrative, does it? But ancient writers say she was black, she was African, and she was the most beautiful princess. She was so stunning that her whole family got turned into constellations. Mythical Ethiopia was the extreme southeast, where Helios began his journey. For the Greeks, that's Africa.